What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday! All right, guys. Yeah, and Doll usually does the intro, so don't excuse my lovely voice to intro this. But yeah, tweet out the room if you guys want. Let's we'll chat some stocks and talk about this lovely red day and what you got coming for you guys in the next little few weeks with all these brokers switching up everything and kind of how to protect your portfolio and manage it. So we'll do a little bit. Hope you guys all had a good weekend, good week. Red market today, but builds opportunity. So definitely just right off the bat, guys, shave your profits, hold them in, because shave the profits so you can add the dips. Shaving a green day just right off the bat it allows you, like, that's how I add all day, every day, is I'm shaving something. And then when that thing's red the next day, it's not like I'm worried about losing my position because I'm going to add it on its next red day. And yeah, it messes up your averages. People say this and that. So that's something that, you have to figure out your taxes. I'm not familiar with everyone's taxes in the States. So definitely be able to do that, because in this market right now, nothing just kind of holds too well. So you have to really play it catalyst to catalyst, which we've totally touched on before. So this week, yeah, that word of the week thing, it's not going to be a positive word. It's going to be a word that, will, a lot of people can definitely relate to. And it's complacency. So being complacent in your life, and whether it's the market, whether you're in your daily life, your job, and that's something that, I'm totally blessed with, because I've been complacent for 30 something years. And I really didn't know if I'd ever get out of it. When you're comfortable with something, guys, you're going to stay in that zone. You're going to stay in that groove. You're not going to want to change. It's hard work. But complacency will tear you apart, because then you start to resent your job. You start to resent people. You're not happy. And the biggest one would be your job. And I know we don't all have the luxury to trade full time or to get the ideal job. We got to put food on the table, especially in these tough times. But if you can't change your job, then maybe other parts of your life to try to better yourself in, right? And complacency, definition is showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements. And I know for myself is I didn't really put the actions in place my whole life to change things, to do things, but I worked hard. But if you're not setting goals, if you don't want to be, growing as a person, as a trader, as a husband, a wife, a person in general, you're going to get stuck in that lane, and life is in the end too short to really to just sit by idly. And this kind of got brought up. This word is watching what goes on in this world, guys. And either way, if you like it or not, we don't always talk stocks here. I like to talk life. Stuff that's going on over in the Middle East and stuff, guys. You got to look at that. Like, I was almost in tears one day. It's like you have to look and say, your right to water, your right to freedom, your right to all these things are given to you in this country, and in this, in a lot of countries. But those are kind of things that, yes, we take it for granted, but let it motivate you. Like, let it, watch that news. And I know people don't want to watch the news, but watch the news and say, what am I doing sitting here doing this, complaining about this, that, and this, oh, my cable is this, and my, yeah, that's first world problems. But I really want everyone to really think that, use that stuff to motivate you and just be a better person. When you go for a walk, just smell the fresh air, because a lot of people don't have fresh air. When you take a drink of that cup of water from your tap, all these little small things can really help you in life and just mental health. Small wins, small things that you're grateful for. And I really believe that all these things can start to grow. And then you're going to maybe say, you know what, fuck this job, fuck this boss that I'm working for, that's not giving me a raise, that's not, treating me well, and go elsewhere. One thing that I've done, like, growing up and told people is, like, if you work your butt off, even though you're doing it, the person above you is probably not always going to give you that, credit, that, affirmation, or that raise, because money matters. But all these little things of being complacent, start pushing yourself. It's going to be tough. It's small, everyone's comfortable, but you know, these opportunities that we're given, and I'm feeling it more and more at 35. I'm not married and have kids. Do I want them? Do I, this? All these things still go through your head, right? And you have to figure out what you want as a person. Um, and then when you go to the market, and I know, Max has said this, when you to relate it to the market is, what's your goals? Are you happy with, that extra 10 grand in 1 year? Are you happy with, 50 grand, whatever that number is it's gonna help your life, go for that. And then if you get more than that, then it's a bonus. It's a huge win. But don't come into this setting your targets, guys, at 100K, say you're working a job and your salary is 60K, but you're seeing all these other traders make this and that. So you're starting off at that level. So back to staying in your lane and having your bracket, your goals. What would make you better? Would it be that extra 500 a week to help, pay the bills or go for dinner? All these things are in relation. It's different for every person. So take it as it is, but sit back and look at these things, because I really think, in the market, really, and people are being deterred. They're losing money. They're not making as much money as they want to. You have to really analyze what's going on, guys, and it's a tough month. So set your bar low, and also, too, guys, pull back in times like this. Pull out some liquid, pull out some investments, go in safe ones. All this stuff is going to help you in every aspect of your life, because one of the biggest stresses in life is money. And yes, the OTC can be very fruitful in helping you out, but it can also be very detrimental in taking your bank account down. So complacency, guys, just try to be a bit better, try to push yourself a bit more. And just, if you need that motivation, just fucking put the news on. Because what's going on in this world right now, guys, is pretty shitty sometimes. And the stuff that we take for granted, freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of being yourself. A lot of people don't have this. So I'm a big believer in, be happy, and quit complaining about those little mundane things, because one, no one wants to hear it, and two, it's not going to better your progress in life, market, anything. So relationships. So that's that. That's my little rant on that. So, and another word I really don't like, which is a little less, is content. I've heard someone say this close to me. I'm content. Well, content's not good enough for me. If you're striving for content, then your goals, your dreams are not high enough. Your work ethic's not there. So just set the bar a bit higher, guys. Work a little harder, and in the end, you're going to get a lot of satisfaction out of it. So enough of that. But back to the market, guys. Crazy day today. Looks like it's red all the way around on certain plays here and there. This market, we're going to see really turn up, and you see some of the vet traders saying it's been these months are usually like this. So don't get down on yourself, guys. Reach out to other traders, ask questions. And like I said, don't make impulse moves. Don't pull back. Don't just throw all your money in another play to chase. Because right now, chasing is not what you want to do. We've talked about these custos. We've talked about this deadline. What do you do with non-filed companies, non-pink current? We've had a curveball by TD, which I think we figured out that it's going to be basically in September now. So going back to narrow your plays and pick those plays that you're willing to hold through, because you're selling all these off. But for what reason, really? Because a lot of traders are scooping up your shares, even those traders that are on those different brokers. But I know it's tough to hold and place your money somewhere while all this is going on. But it takes work, it takes effort. You got to do your DD even more than ever here. So if anyone has questions on the deadlines, I'm still obviously taking everything in, figuring out what broker's doing what. But at the end of the day, if you see companies filing, if you see, and a lot of people spread these rumors, this stuff out there, and even big name people, not and that'll say they're not going to be current by this date because they missed the June 30th date. The June 30th date was a soft deadline for access to guarantee it, essentially. But you're seeing companies drop all their filings, their AL. OCLG was one of them recently, and they'll be current in a matter of a week. So there's a few week window, and I said it last week that you don't need to really start panicking and selling because you sold your shares, and now all of a sudden that company goes current in 2 weeks. You can still buy, but yet you've now lost out on 50% gains. So please be cautious of this, and definitely, guys, ask if you need to. But all this dumping has been crazy out here, and the liquid's still there, and it's going to only get bigger. So that's it with the deadline. I don't know all the details or how it's going to play out, but do your DD. OTC markets, I just had to think about basic DD. I've been asked a couple times. It's companies, it's share structure, it's how much AS do they have and OS. If there's a large gap, then they can dilute. Everyone's saying these things about, companies are just going current so they can dilute. I'm pretty sure they could dilute before they were current, and they still can. So be careful what you read out there on Twitter, guys. A lot of people, there's bashers, there's this, there's that, or there's just uneducated people that try to say this. So we've always said this: careful who you follow, careful who you listen to, and maybe cross check it with a few other people. So that's kind of where I'm at with everything now. What was I going to say? Oh, one other thing. When you're buying shares, and I'm getting this a lot, I sold too early, or what are we going after? What price? Even myself, guys, I'll load, I'll do my thing, I'll buy. Even no matter what it is, and even if they don't hold, I always keep somewhat of a tail. And this goes back to kind of that mental health thing, and just mentally keeping your head in the game. If you're owning X amount of shares on a ticker, say you got 1 million shares, and you've had your run of 100% or so, but you like that number, you're happy with the profit, you're going to love that. Maybe keep 200,000, maybe keep a quarter of your position, for that merger. And custos are a big one for me. That's what I do it with mostly. Is take my profits, and then I'm going to hold that tail for that merger. But we all know, like, it takes time. Like, everyone's pissed off. Oh my gosh, I'm holding XYZ and it's gone down here. What's going on? They're waiting for the merger. This is all new for everyone, and I don't believe these custos have been this hot before. But that's a big one for me, is which I'll tell everyone is when you get those custos, all about entry, and then shave when you get your 100, 200%, right? When it starts to break a penny, 2 pennies, that's a great time to shave. You do not want to hold your full position after it's ran, and some of these don't even have filings yet, and you're getting 1.5, 2 cents. And it's not a bad thing to sell, even if you think it's a great custodianship, even if you think it's a great share structure. Take all that away, which I've learned in my less than a year, is take all the DD away, the conviction, because I've been burnt holding it all the way down. Is just know the market. Know, okay, well, if there's no merger announcement in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, it's going to go down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going down. I don't give a shit how big it is, or the rumors about the how big the merger is. They could even say what the merger company is, and if it's not a closed deal yet, it's not going to hold its value. So I can't preach it enough, guys. Sell up there, and you're going to feel so good during the day. And a lot of people can't do it because you're working and such, but you can still see the spike in the morning. You can see this at your first break or lunch. Shave up there, and then when it comes back down, guys, you're going to have funds to add a dip. And you're gonna feel fucking great about yourself. You're gonna be like, wow, what a trade I just made. And don't try to hit top or bottom. Don't be mad that you missed the top or bottom. But definitely, guys, this is the time where you really have to utilize, the market sentiment, and that's where really knowing the market, watching Twitter, watching how things move. It's more than just a company, because I was burnt by that, and I've had to really change, and I've adapted. Is it doesn't matter how great the company is, where it's going in 2 weeks, 1 week, or sorry, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. You have to really think about where it's going in the next week. And you shaving, profits is just going to allow the stock to grow better. And I think as, good traders are educating everyone on this, if we're all kind of shaving at the top and buying in the dips, they're going to start to climb a lot more organically and hold their value a lot more, rather than someone dumping and then, oh my gosh, I got to dump too. So that's a big one, which every day, and that's why no one has perfected the OTC. you'll never perfect the OTC or how to trade because the thing changes every day. So let's keep that in mind going forward, guys. Is take some of your profits and add some of your dips. It'll be key. Just getting a message here from OTC Club. I think it's one of you guys. Anyways, Doll, good to see you. Welcome. Take the mic for a sec if you want.
What's up, man? How you doing? Where'd you just go?
Um,
Hey, Christine.
I'm here. I just wanted to hear your voice. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
well,
all.
here I am. I am present. That
Christine,
was so
you're a
sweet.
big roller here. You got a verified profile? What's up?
You just now noticing this?
What's
Where you been at,
well? Was it when you got it revived? I guess Christine was
No,
reinstated
she
in
been
the
had a
Twitter world.
verified profile, man.
Oh, it's amazing. All right, hold on one second here. I'm gonna let Max up. I know he's got some questions, so we'll let him
Max
spit.
is right here. Hey, Max.
Oh yeah, he's up already.
Max, unmute your mic. What's up,
Hi
buddy?
guys. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been super excited all day, so I'm probably gonna need a nap after this.
Oh,
But I'm I'm happy to be up here. I'm also happy to see the guy down there because I know last night he spoke and he doesn't like talking out loud in front of people, and I'm the same way. But hopefully, I can do an all right job of this. Um, Matt, you asked well, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys why I'm asking the questions I'm asking and why I stand pretty strongly behind Matt. Um, I had to learn a lot of things on my own. I had to lose a lot of money. I lost half my money learning, but it's cheap price to pay because there's a lot of money to be had here, but there's a lot of bumps in the road. There's a lot of things that I didn't know. I didn't know anything in the beginning. The first time I messaged Matt, he messaged me back. I didn't get a message from any other traders for at least 2 months into it. He was right behind me. He answered all my questions. The biggest problem I had is I didn't know what questions to ask. So it's not that Matt wouldn't give me the answers, it's that I had no idea what I needed to learn. I had no idea what I needed to ask in order to get somewhere. So slowly I'm following the big traders and I'm seeing the way they're doing things. I'm seeing the way they're buying. I'm seeing the way they're buying dips. So I'm trying to figure all this stuff out and make sense of it on my own. Hopefully my questions can make it a lot smoother and a lot quicker for all you guys. Um, I stand behind Matt for that main reason. He was the only trader that actually gave me the time. He spent so much patience with me. The first time he told me this whole sentence about PPS, I type in PPS in my Ameritrade. What play is this? It must be great. PPS, price per share. I didn't realize that until I Googled it. I'm trying to look for a ticker symbol, and now PPS. Oh, you're an idiot. There you are. It's price per share. The very first thing you should probably know here. But you know what? I was learning from scratch, and Matt had so much patience for my very, very uneducated questions in the beginning. So that's where all my questions come from here. And you went over DD, Matt, and the OTC markets. But like for me, when a new ticker pops up, when I see somebody mention something that I haven't seen before, first thing I do is I open up OTC markets. I type the ticker in. I look at the share structure. I look at the last time they had updates. What all can be found here? Um, Actually, it can all be found in a pretty big hurry. I can go over a ticker now in about 3 minutes and know whether it's worth my time or not. But what can you say as far as what can be found and what kind of info you can get right away from OTC markets?
Yeah, exactly, and that's like the go-to. That's the site that you go to first. And the main ones are, which I've said before. I think there's five you can list off, and the first one right off the bat for me is share structure, and which I just touched on a bit on the start there, but which is even more key right now, guys, with all these new rules, the deadline is dilution is what kills stocks, and sometimes it happens and then you'll see a stock rise, right? It's old debts. I know ILUS had that, old notes on there. It's not always a bad thing, but it will go down, so you have to be aware of it. But having a good AS/OS gap, so say if you're at 2.4 billion OS and your AS is 2.5 billion, that's only allowing them another 100 million shares to move into the OS, which raises the market cap, which essentially would bring the value down of the PPS. Restricted shares are not in the float. So restricted shares are owned by insiders, note holders, any of the above, but are not on the float. Most of the time, the float is not updated on OTC markets, guys. So your unrestricted is essentially your float. You see a lot of these people, a lot of names sometimes post, oh, the float's XYZ, but it's from 2016, and the unrestricted is a billion higher from yesterday. So these are very key things to know, or just you have to ask, because I didn't know it. Believe me, I had no idea of unrestricted, restricted, and like this is 9 months ago. But I'll tell you, I know the ins and outs better than anything right now, that I've learned. And I know some guys here we've talked before, which is key, is guys, those filings. If you're going to really take this seriously and put your money, whether it's is a grand is big to you or 10 grand, but whatever is big to you, if you're investing in a company, you either have to really search Twitter, search different platforms to find out what's going on with the filings, like debt, what's going on in the future. Filings are super key because they really tell the story of what will come in the future. So very key. So share structure. My biggest thing, which is one of the top I do, is management, guys, is looking at who's running the show, who's involved, what's their past like. Because the OTC, it's getting less and less, but they're filled with scammy CEOs that have XY, like 5 different companies, and they're just using them as basically dilution machines, money machines. So really bet on the people. And then a big one for me is the sector. So that's number 3, is the sector. What sector are they in? Is it an up and coming sector? And obviously one of the big ones right now is crypto, blockchain. It's the future, and there's a lot of upside to that. Obviously, there was the green rush, cannabis. We're gonna have a psychedelic rush coming up soon. So I've been looking for tickers on that. I got a CTO on one of them, but I love it. And then you have oil and gas, commodities. And then you also have to look, and there's the guys in here who I've met recently, is go after, when you go on Twitter, guys, look at a person's platform and check out what plays they're on. Like there's some people that are, I don't know oil and gas. I'm not familiar with it. I don't claim to be, but me and my conviction helps out when you go and search other traders that know that industry. And that's where we've talked before, is guys. And Max, appreciate all the kind words before I go too much forward. That's just me. Who I am as a person. It's why I say hi to everyone on the street, why I talk to people, why I give my time to anyone, whether there's a celebrity, or I don't know why I just said that, because I'm not a big celebrity person, but I mean, like, I'll treat everyone with respect and time wise, and I enjoy it. I enjoy helping, because and you're right, Max. I didn't have a lot of people break it down for me when I started in the OTC. So what I have done is carried myself humbly. I don't have an ego. I'm a pretty vulnerable guy, which is an open book. And I've made, like I see a lot of guys here, I literally have an inbox of thousands of people, which I talk to all the time. Some daily, some weekly. Bounce plays off each other. It is this tool of Twitter we have, or FinTwit, is unimaginable what it does for your trading game. And if you're not utilizing, reaching out to people, making, relationships, it's tough to do this on your own. And there's a lot more to it than just kind of reading a chart or playing a play on your own, DDing a play. So, especially during COVID, guys, a lot of people don't get to interact in person. Have some conversations. You don't even need to talk stocks all the time. Have some conversations with people, build some repertoire with them. Hopefully with COVID, everything in October, I'll be traveling around to see about 8 different traders in the States. So I'm looking forward to that, meeting some people in person. So appreciate that, Max. You're always enjoyable to talk to. And like I said, we don't just talk stocks. He'll send me a picture of his dog and this and that. So I appreciate that. So yeah, like I said, share structure, the sector they're in, management, and then they can be in a sector and they can have a piece of that. But what do they have that makes them disruptive, right? You to get to the next level, you can play anything. You could play a scam stock. You could play whatever it is. You can trade it, right? If you know how to read charts and you get in a low entry or wherever, you can trade any trade. But what's going to make it for me is I'm a long-term investor. I'm a more of a mid-long swing player with potential. I don't invest in a stock unless I can see at least a 5,000% gain at some point or another. I don't, and I'll play the odd play, but I won't tweet it ever. My entry or anything like that. I'll just play it for a Momo play and scalp, whatever. But the sector, make it disruptive. They need to have something different. And then the more recently one is Twitter presence, social media presence for a company. If a company has no presence and no connection with their investors, it's really tough to gauge, especially in this market, because don't ask them questions like, okay, when is the exact date the filings are coming, or who's the merging company? They can't tell you that, guys. So, and those questions you're not going to get answers. And that's another thing maybe we'll touch on next week in a bit more time. And I learned from others is how to compose an email to a CEO, right? Be very professional the way where you approach it, and do not ask real close details, right? You can ask, are you expecting to drop filings before the deadline to get current? Those are key questions. Are you planning on raising your AS or buying back shares in the near future or something? These are public things that they may be able to say. So having a presence is another big key factor for your DD. And like I said, guys, go to iHub, go to StockTwits, go everywhere and check it out, because you want to see the negative sides. Start off your research by finding out if they have debt, if whatever the red flags are, and then you can kind of build your position from there. Don't just go all in because they said they got the next new crypto thing. And I won't name a couple tickers, but I've publicly said a ticker that is not good, or and the CEO is not good. So if they don't have proof, they don't have substantial stuff, then I would be wary. Yeah, Max.
All right, cool. And that was a great answer. That is much more detailed
Yeah, I
than I
tend to
thought
talk too much.
you were going to give me. No, you know what? Too much is good because I didn't understand any of that stuff, and I'm finally learning it very well. And to have a detailed explanation is going to help at least somebody in this room. The other thing you mentioned is price, like bracket. Find your bracket. Like for me, I would personally rather buy, I don't know, 100,000 shares of something at 0.003 than buy something at a penny that I can only get a few shares for. So I guess this addresses ROI, return on investment. What can you say about staying kind of in your league of plays and being able to get enough of it to actually matter? One thing I've learned is if you're not sure about a play, you get 100,000 shares of it. You only need 2 points movement, and you've made $20. That's $14 for your trade. Now you made $6 instead of having to wait for it to run to a penny to actually make you $20 so you can get out of the trade if you don't feel comfortable. That's made me feel comfortable, but I think everybody's going to be a little bit different on that. But what do you say about ROI?
Yeah, 100%. So, and everyone knows, my past sessions where I say entries is, with how big my account is now and even before is, and I'll get plays sent to me at 5 cents, 8 cents, and honestly, so where you look at it is 100% is 100%, and there is low float stocks at 20 cents that can pop to 40 cents in a day. That's still 100%. So same with the 0.02 going to the 0.04. That's 100%. So we all know that, and if you don't, like, feel free to ask. It's not, no question is a bad question, but it can be harder, like you said, to go from 4 cents to 8 cents, which is 100%. And it all depends on the float. That is one of the key things there. But at the same time, which everyone has to understand, is if it's a low float, getting shares and selling shares is a lot more difficult than a bigger float, right? So that's another key factor is low floats are great, but if you're trying to flip a low float or you're trying to buy and sell, like, it's harder to do at higher levels, especially. But yeah, I've said it before, is even with my account balance, I normally do not enter a play if it's above 0.005. And for me, I've said that before, I like to go for 0.002, 0.023, because the way I look at it, guys, in the OTC markets is we have, 12,000 securities. This will get narrowed down, but you see how many, and I can't preach enough how many runners there are daily, right? And the big thing about buying in, say, at a penny rather than 0.002, there's a lot more chance for that thing to retrace or come down, especially if you haven't read that chart perfectly and know where support is and resistance. So buying into a play at 0.15 in relation to rather 0.002, that 0.015, I'll buy that, but I know that it has a catalyst near term. It has, the chart says that, there's support at 0.012 or 0.12. Those are all things you have to look at when you enter, a play at that level, especially. I'll buy 0.001s all day. I don't even look, as long as it's got some sort of. Sorry, got a dog eating someone here. I'll enter some of those plays with just DD. It could be, people call it a lottery, but it's a lot less risk for your reward down at those levels. So, and it doesn't mean because you have a 5,000 account, a 100,000 account, a 500,000 account that you can't play a ticker that's at 5 cents that's going up. It's just less likely in the OTC. You see a lot of plays stall out when they get to those levels, unless they are a really low float, very low float that can move up to the dollar range or above. So it's a great question, Max, and definitely there are a lot out there. And it's not saying do not buy a 1.5 cent stock, but just make sure when you buy it, you're aware of the past PPS action, price action, where the support and resistance are, and what the catalysts are. Because just buying a play that's still like, and that's where you get bashers come out is, these are all pumpers. They're pumpers. We're tweeting a stock at 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, like I am with MJW, and I know where it's going to go, but it's not saying to buy. It's saying like this stock can go more, but make sure you do your DD, and if you don't know it, ask somebody. So, and that's where this, some people will hate, Twitter pumpers and stuff like that. But we're just showing DD. And at the end of the day, if you believe it's going to a market cap that is much higher than the current PPS and market cap are saying, then it's still a play you can play on. It just has a more difficult time for loading. So, yeah, I think that answers most of it.
All right, cool. That was
Thanks,
a perfect
Max.
answer for that
No
one
worries,
as well.
man. Appreciate it.
All right. Hey,
Okay,
go ahead. What?
I was going to grab someone else up, but what do you got?
Well, something that kind of goes hand in hand with that. Like for me, in the beginning, I was pretty well spread out. At the same time, it kept me from losing losses, but at the same time, I wasn't making very big gains. So I noticed that when I narrowed down to 4 plays, now I'm actually making gains because I'm not having 4 things down and 4 things up on the same day. So what do you think about the amount of plays that people should have?
Yeah, and again, and I love reiterating this. Like I was talking to Max inbox today, we were chatting. Like I've touched on all these, but and they're great to just drill into, you guys, because I still get sent like an unbelievable amount of tickers on someone with a 20K account, and they got 15 tickers. I don't even have 15 tickers. So it doesn't say you can't have that, but to really be successful in this market, that's good in February when everything was running. I had 52. But right now in this market, guys, it's really key to just have, so I have currently, I have a lot of C's, but I have maybe eight normal tickers, I think, right now. And it allows me to strictly watch those plays all day. I literally know every day what it's done recently, where it's at, where the charts are going to go. And that allows me to shave and allows me to know how much I'll shave at the top, and then adding on the red day. And it's just, portfolio management. There's a big one that I haven't touched on too much is managing your portfolio will limit, these rough months. And if you have an idea of what things are going to do, I truly believe, and then a lot of swing traders in the OTC, you see a lot of traders that'll play plays and they're in and out, right? It's could be a day swing, a week swing, and that's cool. Like it's make your money, do your thing. But the training or education we need to show some of the new traders, which I try to do, and others, is we're not all just buying them and holding them forever. And that's the misconception that I believe a lot of traders have, is that, we buy the play at wherever your entry is, and then you hold it until it reaches your market cap potential. So I'll buy a play at 003 and the market cap 7 million. And I believe that with what they have coming and such, it's going to be a 70 million play. So that's a 10 times PPS from 00, we'll say 002, which means it's going to hit 2 cents, in my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm buying it all and then I'm just going to push it to the side and hold it. That's not the case at all. Because there's going to be a long few months in there where it's going to go up, it's going to go down, and that's going to allow you to build your account. So definitely, I'm a big believer that narrowing your plays down to under 10, no matter how big your account, and if you're a really small account, I would say, which I'm trying to say, is maybe 4 to 6. Have a small position in some, maybe a larger one in others, and a lot of people, you'll say, well, some people say, oh, diversify. We have big names like Buffett and another one I just watched, which I spoke about, another big hedge fund manager. Why would you diversify if you believe in your skills, you believe in your DD? I'm going to put a lot of eggs in that basket because not too often, you're going to find that gem, every couple months. So doing that and finding that, because we all know, guys, and the worst, it's the best thing about the OTC and the worst thing. Everyone wants a lottery ticket. Everyone wants the next, 20,000% runner. So, but if you pick a good play and you have a good entry, and you shave along the way up, you can keep a tail. You can keep a chunk of your shares. You could be running free shares, which a lot of people say. I'm a bit more risk for reward, risk tolerance, but definitely, if you can keep a couple 100,000 shares of a play and it goes from pennies to $1, and we don't say $1 because let's just get that figure out of our mind. Let's say 5 cents, 10 cents, because I really believe that there's only one play I've ever said that's going to $1, and I still own it, and you all know what it is. So that's going to be a fun one for me. But again, I shaved near the tops on that one. But not a lot. But I know that I'm going to hold it for a long time. So, yeah, good.
Thank
Good
you for
stuff,
answering
Max.
all my questions, Matt. Thank you very much.
No
Thanks,
worries. I
Doll, for
appreciate
letting
your
me up
support,
here.
man. We appreciate your positivity on the Twitter as well, man. We need a lot like you.
I try to keep it positive. Hey, I'm devoting all my resources right now to learning the OTC, guys. I'm learning as fast as I can. To all my followers out there, thanks for having a little bit of faith in me. I'm literally learning around the clock. I rarely sleep. I don't play options, but I assure you, when I do, I'm gonna be hitting up PB Investing for some lessons on that, because he's just growing out of control. He's a madman. Good job, PB. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm down.
Thank you, Max. Thank you so much.
See you, Max.
That's my
Thank you.
guy right there, Max. He's such a good person.
He is. He is.
Yeah.
We chat a lot. I'm going to drop you off, Max, to keep it clean here, and then we lost someone that was up before, but if she wants to come back up, let me know. We got Tulabur, I think, connecting here. I just see he's still connecting. But yeah, PB's a beauty. I was talking to him today again. What a good kid. He's not on right now. He must be still in school or something. Football practice, I think. Tulabur, how you doing over there? It's connecting. Anyone else want to come up? You can flip up too. Request. I see a lot of names here I recognize. Thanks all for everyone coming out too. I love doing this. It's fun. Chatting, get to know each other. This market should be fun. Can't say it enough. Enjoy it out there. All right, Tuliber's not making the cut right now. He's still struggling. Hi, you saying hi? Anyways, also I want to let everyone know too, who's connected with me or whatever. Whenever I'm traveling, which hopefully will be soon, because I want to just keep traveling and trade from wherever. Is if I'm in your city or town, hit me up. Love to get a beer. Love to hang out. Let me know. It's Canadian too. All right, I think we got him coming here now. All right, man, you got the mic. Go for it.
Yeah, so thank you guys for the impactful knowledge, and it has been really worth it. I I have a few questions, and I'm gonna share my own opinion as well, right? So I have about 30% of my portfolio in the OTC, and my strategy has always been, you know, the fundamentals. So as an accountant, uh, I'm able to, look at some performance indicators to determine, uh, a company that is standing well, and that which, its going concern is kind of doubtful, right? So for me, what is important is I don't care. I'm long on many of these OTCs, so I don't care if uh, I don't make much money. But what is important to me is I don't lose all my money in a certain ticker, right? So you know, the OTCmarket.com, it's a very it's like a one-stop shop for your research in terms of the materials and resources you get from it, right? The screener is it's perfect as well, and the financial part of the OTC market platform gives you the best summary. So I use a lot of websites to research. However, the OTC market, the numbers are in thousands, so it gives you a very good face value to what you're looking at. And as you guys have said, the share structure is very important because it's simple demand and supply. So if the float is very high, it means so another thing you can do is the number on the float, you can multiply it by the price to see how much people need to put into this stock for it to really have a go or have a spike, right? So I have a number of tickers on my watch list that I'm watching, and you know, another thing that is important to me is the current liability. So about 90% of these OTCs, I fear before the year runs out, many of them are going to do dilution because uh, many of them have a lot of liabilities that are due before year end. So sometimes when I look at these stickers, I see that, okay, first of all, I look at the year end. So if a ticker, so we're in August now. So if if a ticker's year end is say September 30th or December 31st, and he has a huge current liability, this gives you an indication that either in this quarter or the October to December quarter, they have to do a dilution because they have no cash, right? And this gives you an indication. Particularly in my own case, in real life, I work in a medium size organization, and I know how difficult it is to raise money, right? And this money are cash. You have to pay them. You can manipulate your revenue, you can manipulate your profit, but your debt is your debt. The amount you see there is how much you are owing, and your cash is your cash, whatever you have. So you look at some of these OTCs, they don't have enough cash, they don't have, even fixed asset enough to, in case they want to sell off some to raise money, right? So it really limits your option, your decision on the options that the organization have in terms of is either they go for dilution or they go to some of these loan sharks and some of these stickers that promise shareholders that they're not going to liquidate, no reverse merger, no reverse split. Sometimes when push comes to shove, they have no other choice because when you don't have an asset, it's really difficult for you to raise money. And if you're able to get one, the interest rate is going to be crazy. because you don't have any backup. It's like an emergency fund. And I think people who do that really don't have the interest of the shareholders at mind when you go for that option. So the safest way is usually the dilution. However, it has an impact on the share price, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Hey,
still a great, yeah.
Tuber. I think Yeah, definitely. And you're on point. I'll just touch on it quickly as well, and then if you have another question, just so we can get, there's a couple more coming up. But you're bang on. And that is where um, having your DD and looking at management, because in the OTC you have to trust. I trust until I don't trust. And if they have past dilution tendencies, then yes, for sure. Then looking at share structure, if the OS is maxed to the AS, is a key indicator where they can't dilute. Um, and that's key, because a lot of these companies in the OTC, if you don't mind, can you mute your mic? I think I hear some stuff in the back. You got it. Yeah. So that's where coming, researching the company, knowing the management, and trusting them, because a lot say, well, you want them to say no reverse split, you want them to say no dilution, right? But if they got a 50 billion AS and a 50 billion, and then they have a 1 billion OS, that's a lot of room. Why do they have that? Right. And we've been burned by that elephant there, GGII, before when they did that. So it's definitely key to watch is AS-OS spread, which I spoke about, trusting the company, by reaching out, guys. Reach out to these companies, ask them these questions. They can tell you no dilution, what, and then you have to take their word for it. And that's why cross-checking and being background checks on who the CEOs, CFOs are, and if they're trustworthy, if they have a great background, certain companies. So you're on point with that, and dilution does happen. And you don't want that, right? Because the share price is going to go
Yep.
down. There's very rare cases.
Yeah. And Tula Berry, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I talked with you on. Oh, you let him down. I talked with him on Club.
I didn't let him down. I think he
Oh
just
yeah,
left.
I talked with him on. I met him on Clubhouse
Oh, there he
when
is.
I had like
Yeah.
100 followers on here. So thanks for coming up, Tula Berry.
Yeah. So you're just connecting again. I'll let you finish up, Tuliberry. But yeah, you're on point.
Trying to share my own interest as well, right? And to touch on areas you guys didn't say or I didn't hear before I joined. So going to my question. My first question is, aside dilution, are there other safe ways these companies raise money that I may not have an idea of? I'd like you to mention two or three areas where they can raise funds so that when we see that a company has a low cash with a huge current liability, accounts payable within the year, perhaps you can feel more comfortable. Secondly, the other question is, from your
Wait, before you
experience.
get started, your question. I have to go. Bye, you guys. I have a meeting. I'll see you on the next
Yeah, dog.
Be
See you
Club.
some other time. Yeah,
Bye, Doc.
I'll catch you up.
Bye bye.
Thanks, doll.
So, my second question is, which industry do you think, before this year runs out or mid into the next year, that you think it's actually really viable in terms of macro advantage or something else, or any, maybe external catalyst? If there's any industry, one or two that you can mention where we can actually, look into and
Yeah, definitely.
find some stickers with good fundamentals that we can go into. Those are my questions.
Yeah,
Thank you so
definitely.
much.
No, thank you, sir. And to touch on that, yeah, there's definitely, you got to pick your sectors. And there's, like I said, you got to go through the filings with accounts payable, notes payable, debt conversions. That's all the stuff you need to know before. And there is ways of doing it without toxic dilution, right? So that's where you got to know the company. You have to be able to read the filings, and you have to have contact with the company. So the some of the notes, you don't want companies with notes. It's not a great thing, but if you can find out how they're going to pay those notes or what they have planned, they will tell you if it's a good company. So I'll leave that at that question there. And then with sectors wise, for hot sectors right now, obviously crypto, blockchain is a big one, and beyond that you have healthcare. Anything in the bio field obviously has its upsides. You also have which is still good companies. There are going to be some cannabis CBD companies. Hemp is going to be another, even though some haven't succeeded. I believe hemp is going to be a commodity in the future going forward. Because there's so many usages for it, whether it's stuff use there that can help. Oil and gas commodities are definitely always a hot one, even though we're going away from that a bit more. You have EV plays, so there's many sectors that you can touch on, and then there's still retail, which has gone down, and I'm sure that's going to have a rise again at some point. Some of the more retail sectors. E-commerce is a massive one. So data software, fintech, that's always going to be, a growing sector. And then with all those sectors, it's all about what they have to make them disruptive. So what that sector has to make them disruptive from the rest, because you can be in that sector, but if you don't have something to differ yourself from the rest, then you're not going to have much success. I'll bring Jeremy up next, and then Travis, and then we'll call it a day. Cheers, guys. Good to see everyone here as well. I see some new people coming in. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Awesome. Hey, guys. Thanks so much for hosting this. And Matt, I just want to echo what Max said, man. You've always been responsive to any DMs and whatnot. And it's, it's funny you kind of referred to yourself as, the celebrity, not meaning to, but you are to probably a lot of us in the OTC. So I appreciate you kind of,
Whoa, not me being a celebrity. Sorry, let's rewind. I meant like for me when I meet someone,
No.
But I don't want to sound
No.
like like I'll treat a celebrity the same way I treat the homeless guy that just tried to break into my house the other day. I did run him off my porch, but I did ask him if he's okay.
No, and I appreciate that. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, and then I understand that, and I just appreciate that because like I'm a pretty small fish in a big pond, and any DM I've sent you, you've responded to. And I appreciate that. And I'm just trying to learn this like Max is, and like probably a lot of people other people here are as well. So, and everybody here in the OTC club, thank you for hosting this. Last week, I guess my one question would be like, you say to keep your number of tickers limited. And then as a new trader and obviously learning very difficultly, like to get through all the pump and all that stuff, like because I've been stuck with that, and I'm the absolute gem for anybody pumping stocks. I'm like, this is going off, let's go, and then realizing that I'm stuck at the top holding bags and trying to relearn and recalibrate. And so talking with you and talking with a lot of other people, I'm starting to relearn how to evaluate some things. So doing my own DD, but you say to limit things, and so a lot of us have been kind of following you from the beginning, and a couple big ones like last week you mentioned as your redheaded stepchild's the NWCC and NWGC, and then I think I DM'd you. I was like, hey, like NWGC, haven't heard much. I tried to email them, haven't heard a response, and you actually said, well, and I asked you, maybe it was the AXP Energy, is that maybe a better play? And you actually said, yeah, that might be a smarter play at this point, considering the restrictions that are coming up. Well, silly me. I said, well, they've been saying stay patient, NWGC. So I didn't make that move. So I still hold NWGC. I didn't make the move to AXP Energy. And so when do we know to make that jump to the next ticker, that the next one that's coming on? Because, and obviously looking at AXP Energy the last couple of days and going, I should have made that move, but I didn't. So how do you, as a new trader, how do you make that move from limiting your tickers but staying convicted to the ones you hold to keeping a small ticker number in, et cetera?
Yeah, great question. And it's obviously that one was a tough one, right? Like I'm showing a 180 loss at 80-something% on my second run, but I did on the first run flip out 20 million shares. So I'm still holding 20 million of NWGC now, and I'll be holding that for till it comes back. But yeah, so on that one there, that was a blip on one of my trades recently. One of the first I've really lost on the second round of it. And that goes back to kind of having that cardinal rule maybe is especially set your price where not, I wouldn't say a stop loss, which I don't believe in, but setting your mental stop loss of, okay, if they haven't delivered and they've been dark for a while, they haven't really given us much, and what I know is it's legal stuff that they're still dealing with, that when they get back to it, that it'll come. So I'm actually at the point now where it's back to loading zone for me, so I'll probably be adding back soon. But yeah, that play is knowing when the catalysts are coming. That one there didn't really have anything. We maybe should have, and that's the tough part about Twitter and how we navigate this is I can't go outright and say, hey guys, everyone sell your NWGC. I think it's time to move on. Come back in a bit when it goes all the way to the bottom. That's the tough part. So like I said, thank you, Jeremy, for like when you did ask me, it's I've said to people is I can't tell you to hold this, and I will never tell anyone to hold a ticker. I will tell you, say, I think it's time to cut that, move on to another one, and then revisit it when it comes to that. And that's just knowing that, I'll hold the bag right now, but because I do believe it's going somewhere at some point and I can afford to do that. But yeah, when stock's going down, the Twitter has stopped talking about it, the sentiment's bad. Usually there's like a few day red. If you see a few days red in a row, start shaving your position. Definitely protect your investment, guys. But then again, there's other tickers where you kind of know where it's going to go, and it's what your risk tolerance is, what you believe that it's going to go to. You can buy a ticker at 0.005 and let it go up, and then hold it because you think it's going to go to 3 cents. It could come to a cent, come back down. Not all stocks go up and down. So yeah, Jeremy, definitely. And I ask anyone, just hit me up my DM because we can't always speak about it publicly. So let me know, and I'm always willing, like I said, to let you know privately. But yeah, it's all about where you think it's going to go. If the company has social media and is talking to its investors and letting you know what's coming. This one was probably should have been a sell for me a weeks ago, but I hold so much that I just said piss on it, I'll hold it. So that one was on me for that one, but I do think it's going to come back in MWWC as well. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, man. Hey, if I may just continue, like I don't. So I'm learning now. Like these are all my own trades and my own DD and my own fault for getting stuck this thing. Because actually, I think I even told you in my DMs, like I actually made a little bit of money on the first run, the MWWC and NWGC, and then so I was like, oh, this is great. But then you're still buying, I don't want to say hype, but it is a little bit of hype. Like, oh, the filings are coming and they're going to get renewed, but then you have the whole the Miller crap still hanging around. So you're going, well, okay. So then I buy back in, believe in that, but then made money and then you're stuck buying in. Well, this is going to turn around in a second. So I would say that, I mean, if I just cut profits the first time, I actually in a good position. And that's what I'm trying to learn as a trader is when to shave profits and either just move on or try to reallocate that. But, the calls have always been good. And as a trader, I'm just trying to learn when to either just get out when, like you said, you're in a different spot where you can actually afford to hold a little bit longer. And, so the calls have been great. And so I appreciate you and everything you guys are offering for free to all of us who are trying to follow you and everybody in the OTC and everybody on this list here. So
really appreciate that, Jeremy. We'll get Travis up in 2 seconds here. 1 sec, Travis. I'll just finish touching on you, Jeremy. Yeah, definitely. And guys, like we do the DD, we give the plays, and like I said, there's not too many plays I haven't called that haven't went at least a few 100%, up to 5,000%, 10,000. Some of them called ENZC, TSMP, even some of these other ones that are like those two I called sub penny. I wasn't on Twitter yet, but those had their runs, made me my first buck. But yeah, even other ones, you just got to be sure to take profits, right? Like I was new and I kind of bagged myself on Iron and Diabit and RGBP, called them sub penny. They both hit 8 cents. And I sold for minimal on the way down. But yeah, we'll give you the plays. A lot of great traders here that do the DD, do the work that a lot of people, don't have time, that just kind of want to get in here and do it. Don't follow blindly. Don't call our plays blindly. But if you get in a play and it runs a couple 100%, that's one thing we said last week, accountability. that's on you to hit the sell button, right? We can't tell you when to sell, but if you're up a couple 100% and then you end up something happens, things change, it goes down, and you get bagged or something happens, then that's one thing I've learned to not hold to my self and not blame myself is you guys got to hit the sell button. We can't hit it for you. So, all right, last one, Travis, rip it off quick, my man.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Yes,
I
sir.
just want to appreciate the OTC club. Enjoyed listening to it as much as I can. I just wanted to give a shout out to you. Just like Max said, you were one of the only ones that actually replied to my message when I sent it, because of course I was in a bad way with one of the stocks, and that was a big mess up because me being new, I probably didn't watch it close enough, I guess. I figured it was going to keep going up, but obviously it didn't.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like I said, I message everyone back. I really try to help people. While learning from you guys as well. Everyone's got good advice. Some people got good stuff that I learned from, no matter how big you're following. So, yeah, and we all have that thing. It's the hardest thing to do in the OTC sometimes is sell. We all think it's going to keep going up, but watching the market and learning and always bettering yourself, asking questions is key to learning how to shave green, buy dips, and doing that allows you to, even though you're not going to have your full share account, you're still going to make money, right? And then as you get better and learn, then you will find your DD, or you'll find your conviction, and you'll find your couple plays that'll take off. So I know Max is trying to get back up. Max, I'll let you just say one more thing, and then I'm going to shut it off. Christine, we all going to go. And we got, before that, crypto on Friday with Rue, I believe, and Christine can confirm that. And then we have our Spaces Sunday. So, Max, hit me with one more thing. What do you got? You there, Max?
All right, yeah, I'm here now.
Okay, one more.
All I
What do
was
you
gonna
got?
say is if you guys want to hear like more about my experiences and you want help with anything, hit me up for sure. I'll find you the answers if I don't have them, and just let me know. Matt takes a lot of DMs. I don't mind helping out with a little bit of it. So if you guys want to DM me, go for it. My DMs are open. If I don't see the DM and you still want to get my attention, just find one of my tweets and ask me for a DM. I'll gladly get to you right away.
Cheers, my man. Always a friendly conversation with you. Thank you again, guys. Christine, if you want to say anything, thanks for everyone for coming out, supporting. Let's get through these next couple of weeks, guys. Just stay on it, adapt to the market, and we got big things coming, I think, with a lot of plays.
Yeah,
so
thank you
love
guys
you
for
all.
coming, and then we'll see you guys on this same show next Wednesday, and then on Sunday we have Shamar, and Friday we have the crypto talk. So we'll see you guys at the next show.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. It's
Shamar.
Shamar. I didn't get to catch him when I was back home this time, but I'll be seeing him in October, I think, hopefully. So Shamar's phenomenal guy, super great guy, and very knowledgeable and very disciplined in the market. So looking forward to that. Be
Awesome.
here. Okay, see you guys later.
Bye,
Thanks
guys.
again.